And good morning. Yeah. Oh, here I am. It's kind of dim and cloudy in here today. I've got the end of my coffee. Um, it is, as Emerson Lake and Palmer once said, a cold and misty morning. Although, let me check the temperature outside. I don't think it's that cold. What's the weather telling me here? The weather, it's slow coming up. It is now 54 degrees outside, and given that it's only going to get up to 74 today, I will say it is a cold and misty morning. Gotta love it. Love those guys. It's a shame that 2017 saw two of them dying. One of them, in a way, I'm somewhat familiar with. Yeah, Keith had actually gotten to the point where his medical issues were becoming rather extreme. As you know, he played, well, you probably don't know, but Keith Emerson played keyboards and he was a wizard at it. In fact, he probably revolutionized the way a lot of keyboard playing and instrumentation was done back in the day. And he had been suffering for about 15 years, actually, with really bad carpal tunnel. It had finally gotten to the point where he couldn't play at all. And from what I understand, he was starting to have other health issues coming up as well. I mean, let's face it, that rock and roll lifestyle had gotten to him pretty hard. I can remember back in the day seeing Emerson, Lake and Palmer live. And at that time, Keith was still swilling out of the bottle of cognac while he was playing and chomping on gum like a madman. The gum chomping was probably brought about a little bit by some pot smoking that took place before going out on stage. But he used to just drink straight from a bottle of cognac when he'd be out there playing. I imagine that didn't do him much good. But yeah, carpal tunnel was killing him. I guess he had other issues as well. And he just got suicidally despondent over it and finally ended up shooting himself. And really, I'd read a couple of years ago that Phil Collins was actually suffering from suicidal ideation as well, because he'd gotten to the point because of something that had happened to his back during their last Genesis tour in 2007. He was unable to play the drums anymore. He was having difficulty sitting down and playing for more than 5 minutes before he'd start having these horrible back spasms. And he said at the time he did this interview, I think it was like around 2010, 2011, that, 3 divorces, which cost him about $150 million, which should go to show just how much money Genesis made during the 70s and 80s and 90s, that he was able to spend $150 million on divorce settlements, and he's still living in a villa on the shores of Lake Geneva in Switzerland. Yeah, those guys made bank. But he had said that, divorce settlements and his kids living away from him and not being able to play anymore. He was actually suffering from suicidal ideation. And it just makes you sad when you hear that man, these guys were like at the top of their game. At one time they were the game, and then all of a sudden it's like, I can't do this anymore. And then Greg Lake of Emerson, Lake and Palmer checked out last year from cancer, and part of that was brought on by the fact that he had been a heavy smoker most of his life, which you could tell between the way his voice sounded in the late 70s and the way his voice sounded in the early 90s. Age, mistreatment of his lungs, his voice got shot there toward the end. It just wasn't the same. But yeah, that's just something. Yeah, suicide and death. It's something I should be talking about. I mean, I can laugh about it, but it still bothers me. It's real strange whenever you hear about a celebrity who does end up dying. Sort of like what happened with Tony Scott. I was really upset when Tony Scott died. I didn't know the guy that well. I wasn't a big fan of his pictures for the most part. There were a few of them he made I liked. But it was just the fact of the way he went out. Just drove to the top of, the St. Vincent Bridge in Long Beach and jumped off. And you sit there and you think, damn, these guys, they have the money for treatment. And they still chose that way. It was the same way with Hunter Thompson. When Hunter died, and he shot himself. His suicide note is actually posted. In fact, I believe they actually printed it in Rolling Stone. It was his last missive. And the last thing he said was, "This isn't going to hurt. Don't worry, this isn't going to hurt." That's what he said. You sit there and you go, man, these guys did have money. They could have got treatment, but also they were at a point in their lives where they looked at it and said, I don't really have anything else going on that makes me look forward to continuing. That was the same way with Hunter. Hunter had a whole lot of health issues that had nothing to do with his lifestyle. Some of them had to do with his lifestyle. Some of them had to do with a hip that he actually broke when he was like 55 or his early 50s. He broke a hip and it just never healed properly. And they said he was in continual pain, and he was probably a little bit like Prince, who also had hip surgery. And one of the reasons he died was from opiate overdose. They were in continual pain. And he just kept upping the medication to the point where it killed Prince. But in Hunter S. Thompson, in Hunter S. Thompson, a handful of opiates taken at one time probably didn't faze him. Like, God damn, man, I just took like 12 of your goddamn things. And why are they not? When are they going to kick in? That would be like Keith Richards. Keith Richards has to have a hip operation. And, then they well, Keith, take these opiates. Okay, I'll take the whole bottle. No, they're supposed to take one for pain. Now, trust me, mate, one ain't going to do the trick. Trust me, mate, one bottle might do the trick. One by itself ain't going to help. Yeah, Keith Richards, he has... if he were a D&D character, it would be drug resistance like plus 100. Roll on a D20, Keith. Oh, well, you just snorted that raw heroin without any problems. Yeah, you got to wonder, what the hell are they ever going to do when Keith needs like surgery or something, and they're like, we got to knock him out. With what? We haven't got anything that's that potent. Yeah, it is going to be a problem. We joke, but still, I don't think anybody in the 1970s or 80s assumed that Keith Richards was going to outlive all these different people in showbiz. I think we all expected him to be face down in the gutter, not breathing, sometime around the end of, the 1980s. And he proved us wrong. I swear, he'll be the last Rolling Stone to die. He really will. It's just because his system is so pickled. Literally, I don't think there's anything that could kill him right now. Watch, he'll die of a heart attack or something today, just to prove me wrong. I'm gonna prove her wrong. You just watch. But anyway, yeah, I shouldn't be talking about this, but I am actually going to end up mentioning a few things in the future. So what have I been up to? Besides thinking about celebrities dying, it's been an interesting week for me. I'm still looking for work. I still haven't found anything. It's starting to make me a little bit more nervous because I feel I can make it through to the end of August, and then after that, my future prospects are kind of limited. As in, I don't know what I'm going to do is really what it's going to come down to, because I won't have any income coming in, and I owe money to the IRS. I don't know. It really is. It's kind of iffy. It's up in the air, and I'm really hoping something pops up in the next month or so. I'm trying my hardest to secure employment, and so far it's not coming around. I've been writing. If you've been following the blog, you'll see that my mermaid story is progressing. I haven't done the word count, but I'm pretty certain I'm probably close to 30,000 words. I think by the time I write, the next segment today, it should be pretty close. I don't know, maybe 30,000. I don't remember what it was after a week. I could be wrong. I have to check. My head is kind of fuzzy. Sorry. I've been averaging, I think, about 600 or 700 words. The other day, I actually wrote a little over 1,000. And that was on top of actually writing a 1,200 page, God, I wish, 1,200 word recap for Fear the Walking Dead, which was something I did not expect. I was just like, wow, 1,200 words? I didn't expect it to go that quick. So, yeah, it's been coming back. I haven't really given much thought to the novel. I've just been concentrating on the one story. Every once in a while, I look at it and I was like, should I? I probably should. I should probably finish off that one scene in chapter 28, so you can see what's going to happen after the big vision and Helena speaking with Annie and Carrie. And I still think of the kids. I still want to get back to the work, but I've had so many different things on my mind, so many different things going on of late, that I just really have it out for the most part. I mean, I do have an idea of how I want the story to end, but I don't have anything plotted out. So that there actually helps me just sit down and start writing. The other thing I've been doing this week is I downloaded a program called Space Engine, which is really sort of an interactive planetarium type program. But the nice thing about it is you can go to these different star systems that are real, and they have planets in them. And some of the planets are fake. And you have ships that you can actually use to fly back and forth between these planets. And I just sort of been screwing around with like a thought exercise of a crew of a ship on an experimental jump drive that lets them go to these different planets. And I've actually started to develop, I was saying to myself yesterday, it's really unusual. I started developing a storyline for what would essentially be a gay space romance. Yeah, between two guys aboard a ship who are going out to all these different things. And in like a 20-minute flash yesterday, I sort of like meta-plotted the whole thing out. But it would really be the first time I ever wrote about two guys having a romantic encounter, and it's in a science fiction setting. It's kind of an unusual thing for me because I'm normally, when I think of same-sex romances, it's woman to woman. That's what I'm most comfortable with. But when I started thinking about, yeah, these two guys, it would really be kind of cool to have a gay space romance. And who knows? I might actually write it. Maybe I should. Maybe it's one of those things that I could sit down and knock it off as a short story. And I think it would actually end up being a short story. I think I could probably do it for under 10,000 words. Gay space romance. Who knows? Maybe this is where I should be heading, is gay space romance. But yeah, I've been having fun with the program, but I also realize I've been spending an enormous amount of time on this program just doing nothing but flying back and forth from system to system and pretending I'm finding like all sorts of different things. It's almost like a role-playing exercise. It's my life. That's how I do things. The other thing I've been doing is really just watching a lot of TV. I've been going back through all my Stargate DVDs, of which I have 15 seasons. And at that time, that was back when the show was like 18 to 20 episodes a season. So it's a lot to go through. And it just, like, at this point, it's like, damn, I have so much time. And it really is kind of a bummer because I haven't been set up with outside counseling yet. I'm waiting to hear on my county aid. And I was telephoned yesterday and told something was coming in the mail. I would be receiving a big envelope with all this stuff in it. And so I don't know what that means. Like I joked yesterday, I said it could either be a message about my county aid or it could be my hospital bill, which I have a feeling is going to be pretty big, considering they gave me a CAT scan before I get checked into the unit. And like I told one person, I said, between the x-ray and the CAT scan, I probably racked up about $250,000 in hospital bills just right there, because I had to do CAT scan to show that I didn't have lung cancer. That really, it was broken ribs from Derby. What are you going to do? Yeah, I'm sitting here watching my mouth. There's like this little lag. But yeah, I'm still in Derby jail. I think I'm in Derby jail until the 23rd of this month, which is a Monday. Because I checked 30 days from the 23rd of April is the 23rd of May, which is a Monday, which is bout review day, which I am not going to. Even if I was out of Derby jail, I wouldn't go to bout review. And I'm kind of torn this weekend. This is going to be kind of a tough weekend for me because back a month or so ago, before I was incarcerated in Derby jail, I had big plans for this weekend. I had actually planned on driving up to Wilkes-Barre to watch a game because it was with a team that we were going to play next Sunday. I'm not going to go up. I mean, there's no point in me going up now. It's been made clear that were I to go up, they don't want me taking notes and passing on information. So, I don't see any point in driving 2 hours up and 2 hours back. I'd like to go to meet some of the people that we played from Two Rivers, but I'm not going to go up. I'm just kind of bummed out on the whole process right now. And then tomorrow was something I had wanted to participate in. It's a photo shoot which may or may not go off because it's being done outdoors. And there's like a 60% chance of rain all over this area tomorrow. I think it may even go up. But I had been one of the first people to say, I want to do this. And unfortunately, I'm not allowed to participate. So, the other day, Thursday, I started thinking about it and I got all upset. And I said, I feel heartbroken that I can't participate in this. I didn't say why I felt heartbroken, but it was because I can't participate in this one event. And interesting thing I've noticed about being on antidepressants again. I mean, I've been on antidepressants a couple of times before now. And let's see, I started on my antidepressant regime on the 24th of April. So here it is, the 12th, about 2.5 weeks into it, almost 3 weeks into it. And I've noticed a couple of, I guess you could call them side effects. One of which is I've been having extremely vivid dreams again, ever since getting on antidepressants. I had, sorry. Really got something stuck in my throat today. I had mentioned before that in the months leading up to my incarceration in the unit, that's the only way to really look at it, is incarceration. My admission, I guess I should say. I couldn't remember any of my dreams. It was almost as if I wasn't dreaming. That's how it felt. It felt like I would just black out and have nothing happen. Now I'm having these really vivid dreams. And I've actually been having some dreams with my teammates from my league. A couple of my teammates were in my dream last night. A couple of days ago, I had a dream with one of my teammates. A couple of my teammates have been popping up here and there in my dreams. I don't really know what it means, but actually my dreams are not only vivid, but I can remember them when I wake up the next day. So that's come back. And I imagine it's because the antidepressants are messing around with my brain chemistry. And oops, now I got the hiccups. Jesus. Messing around with my brain chemistry enough that whatever was suppressing my dream function, or at least suppressing it, excuse me, suppressing it to the point where I couldn't remember my dreams, is changed. Boy, I hate this. My body is rebelling. Another thing I've noticed is I don't really get depressed. I get sad. I guess you could say when I mentioned Tuesday that I was feeling heartbroken, that was really the overwhelming sensation I was feeling. Just this feeling of heartache. I wasn't really feeling depressed. I wasn't really feeling sad. I have moments where I feel happy, but I don't feel depressed. And even when I do feel sad, it's not like this overwhelming encroachment of sadness. It's just like you do feel sad. That's it. I've also noticed my appetite has changed. When I was in the unit, I had a good appetite. And I think that's because they fed you on a schedule. Breakfast came at 7:30, lunch came at 11:30, dinner came at 4:30, and you stuck to that schedule. Well, now you're out. I mean, I don't have a schedule, and I've went back to eating what I normally eat, which is like ramen or whatever. And in the unit, they fed you pretty good. I can't complain about the hospital food. Oh, Christ. The hospital food I had, it actually was pretty good. I think I had maybe one or two things I didn't care for. But for the most part, hospital food at Geisinger, top notch. But I noticed, like, Thursday when I got sad, I ate breakfast at like 8:30 in the morning because I was up about 8. I didn't eat again until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so I kind of made it dinner. And then I kind of went out at like 8:30 at night to get like a snack because that was it. I just wanted a little something to eat. Really, what I went out and got was an ice cream sundae. Christ. So I've noticed that a couple of times since coming home that I might not have lunch until like 1:30 in the afternoon. It really depends on how I feel. And I think what I need to do is I really need to like set a schedule for myself of when I eat so that I don't do like I did Thursday, where basically I skipped lunch. One moment. God, I hate that. I hate when my body just starts doing stuff like that. Hiccups right in the middle of doing a video. But what I was saying is, I think I need to set a schedule for myself so that, I eat breakfast by a certain time. I eat lunch by a certain time. And I eat dinner by a certain time. And don't, move away from that. Because moving away from it really does get me all screwed up again. And one of the things they do to you in a unit is they set you on a schedule. So basically, you don't have all this free time to sit around and think, even though I did. I had a lot of time to think. And a lot of the stuff I thought about was, Derby. I need to make some. I really need to make some decisions, I think, about what's going on in my life with Derby. I still love it. But I have to be honest, I don't think I love it as much as I used to. And I think it's just basically because of everything that's happened to me in the last few months. I'm not going to go into any details because, frankly, I don't need to. But yeah, there'll be some things I need. I've thought long and hard on what's been happening with me, and I know I need to make a few changes. What those changes will be, one day you'll find out. So, yeah, I got to get through this weekend. And if I can get through this weekend, then I got to get through next weekend. It's kind of like I said, having mental illness of the nature that I have is sort of like being an alcoholic. You just got to kind of go one day at a time and deal with what hits you on that particular day. And you really can't worry about tomorrow. I really can't. You just can't sit there and think, oh, God, what's going to happen to me tomorrow? I don't plan that far ahead anymore. I can't. I know tomorrow's going to probably be a hard day for me. But I'm not spending any time today thinking about it, even though it's likely I will. It's just one of those things that if you can't do something to change an event, then don't spend any time worrying about it. And that's one of the things I kind of learned this last time, is that since I can't change things that are outside my realm of control, there's no point in trying to change them. There's no point in antagonizing yourself over the fact that you have no ability to change these things. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Other than that, I'm still here. And that's the good thing. I'm still here. If anything else can be said, it's that I'm still here. And that means something. What? I'm not quite sure. But it does mean something. Like I said, just take care of things one day at a time. I'm not even planning on doing anything today. The only thing I have actually planned is I need to go out and get a lottery ticket, because it's $260 million. Maybe I'll win. Yeah, right. If I win, trust me, oh boy, will there be some changes in my life. Yeah, I would love to do that. I'd love to win a big lottery like this. I mean, even if you get to keep half of it, you figure, what is it? If you take the cash option, you get 60%. Let me just figure this out. So it's like 260 million right now. 60% of that is 156. And figure you get to keep 55% of that after taxes. So that's like $85 million. Let's just say 86. And I could divide that up with my family. Even though I'm getting divorced from them, it would be a nice little bit. Split it up. It would actually work out to a little over, it would be about $28.5 million each. Even after taxes is paid, 156 million. Figure you're going to spend 45% of it on taxes, so you'd spend like 70.2 million, which is again going to leave you about 86 million bucks. And it works out to, if you divide it by 3, split it up among my family, it's 28.6 million each after taxes. 28.6 million each. Yeah, there's a lot I could do with $28 million. Yeah, there's a lot I could do with $28 million. I really could. Yeah, that would be good. 28 million. Yeah. I wouldn't have to worry about what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Other than the fact that I would try to spend all that cash before I died. I ain't leaving shit behind for anyone. I don't, as it is right now, I don't have anything to leave behind for anyone. So, but that's my only plan for today. Other than doing this video and writing my mermaid story, I will get that. And that means it's time for me to go because it's almost 35 minutes. So you guys take care. Have a good weekend. And I'll see you next week. Bye.